on all the platforms. So it's Brian Rose. I'm live here. I want to talk about crypto and DeFi markets, why I think now is the time to invest in these things. I want to tell you what I'm seeing and hearing from some of the greatest guests in the world, the top CEOs of the companies, the top founders of these blockchains that are coming on the show as we speak. I've got the founder of Celsius here tomorrow, Alex Mashinsky. Does everybody know Alex? Just thumbs up if you know Celsius, or if you've ever put any of your DeFi trades on Celsius. It's a yield swapping platform that I get a lot of people inside my DeFi Academy to use. I get them on Compound, I get them on Aave, and I get them on Celsius. We just had the founder of Aave here, Stani Kulichev, about a week and a half ago. We had the founder of Compound, Robert Leshner, here, and they're all talking about what's going on and how it's exciting. So again, wherever you're at right now, leave me comments and questions because I want to read them. Can everyone here type in the chats? Just here, thumbs up if you can. Just here on Zoom. We got Ryan Smith. We got Walter. Also, please turn your cameras if you're here on Zoom. I want to see your faces. Daniel Torres as well. We got Kim Bushen's there. Kim and Joe, who are in our DeFi Academy, still staying up late down under up there, so which is great. And again, those of you that are following us on Instagram or YouTube, if you want to be on our Zoom chat and ask me a question, just go to londonreal.tv/Zoom and you can join us live as well. So again, if you're coming here, great to see everybody. We got Walter in the house. Turn those cameras on. I'm going to be answering questions live. So I wanted to just get the whole community together and talk about some of the things that I'm seeing, because we have been fortunate enough to sit down with some of the top minds in this blockchain space and in this DeFi space. And I've started to see patterns emerge when I'm speaking with all of these different players. And again, we've had not only the influencers, we've had people that are actually running the technology blocks themselves. And we've actually just now finished with a slew of fund managers. And a lot of you have probably seen our episodes with Dan Morahead, who runs Pantera Capital, Anthony Scaramucci, who has $1 billion right now in crypto. We had Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy. Anybody see that episode? He's got $5 billion worth of crypto on his balance sheet. And of course, yesterday, we had Richard Muirhead, who runs Fabric Ventures here in London. He's got $130 million to put in blockchain-only technology. That's it. And he's got $30 million from the European Union themselves willing to invest in crypto startups, right? That's exciting, right? Give me thumbs up if you think that's exciting. By the way, any startup people out there, if you want to know how to pitch him for VC, watch the episode. And he gives his email address at the end as well. So it tells you exactly how to pitch him, what he's looking for, and the email address as well. And they're making investments. They just announced an investment yesterday in a company called Angle that's doing the first stablecoin for the euro. So how many people have invested in stablecoins, by the way, out there who own stablecoins right now, like USDC or Tether? Anybody out there? Karina does, I know. Clint, I know you have some. So a few others, Mohammed. Okay, so Tether coins, stablecoins are one of the exciting things I want to talk about today. But this company, Angle, is actually developing a stable euro. And that's going to be really interesting to see. And Fabric just invested in that. So again, some really exciting things. And I want to workshop and answer some questions here for anybody who wants to put them in, which is going to be fantastic. And anybody here I'm on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Just put your comments here, and I want to talk about what's happening today. So again, 3 things I want to talk about. First of all, I want to talk about zooming out. And one of my guests recently on the show, his name is BitBoy Crypto, and he said, when in doubt, zoom out. Let me repeat that one more time. When in doubt, zoom out. Just give me thumbs up here if that makes sense to you, or thumbs down if it doesn't in Zoom. And by the way, if you're on Zoom, let me see those beautiful faces, Laura and Tom Cribb. Okay, so thumbs up, that makes sense. So Clint seems like that makes sense. So the point with that statement is this, is that if you get really focused on the crypto markets and you're watching the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum every day, it can be easy for you to get jaded, especially in the month of September when people are taking some losses after making some big gains in August. And you can wonder if you're doing the right thing, etc. But when you zoom out and look at that 4-year price graph on Bitcoin, you know what's happening. You know this is going in the right direction. And a lot of people say that if you look at any time horizon of significance in any of these crypto assets, it's always a win. And that's what Dan Morehead says, that's what Raoul Paul says, that's what Scott Melker says, that's what all these people say that are investing heavy. So I would just say to anybody in this space who's new or feeling some fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD, right? Thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about. Angela does as well here. If you are, make sure you just zoom out, because it's easy to be so close to the situation. Let me say something that might shock you all. Most of the world doesn't know about crypto. All right, does everyone know what I'm saying there? Just thumbs up, you know what I'm talking about. Most of the world has never heard the 3 letters NFT, Okay. Now, all of you are thinking you missed the boat on NFTs. I should have got in early. Most of the world doesn't really understand this space. It's still very early days. It's kind of like the internet, maybe in the mid 90s. There's still a lot of adoption to go. So it's always remember to focus on that, even though you could have bought Bitcoin for, $1,000, 8 years ago or 6 years ago. It's still important to remember there's still a long way to go. And most of my guests have said, Brian, this is a 10-year phenomenon. 10 years we have. And this is all going one way. And it's very correlated to the rate of adoption. And that's the second thing I want to talk about today. If you look at some of the major guests I've had on this show, they can track the value of crypto based on the number of users of crypto alone. That doesn't mean what the asset's being used for. That doesn't mean the value of the asset or what it's being spent on or any of the incredible DeFi protocols that we're seeing give access to billions of people in the world to lending and borrowing, giving all sorts of incredible borderless transmissions of things like stablecoin. If you just look at the number of users, it almost directly tracks, say, the price of Bitcoin over the past, I think it's 8 years when Dan Moore had looked at that. So first of all, thumbs up if people here, if that makes sense, and thumbs down if you want me to clarify that a little bit. It's okay. I like thumbs down as well. All right, Kamo is like, bring me up a little bit. Okay, cool. And again, Karina's like, yeah, maybe. And again, turn cameras on so I can see those beautiful faces on Zoom. If you're on social, come and bounce over on Zoom. So let me just talk about what that says. Right now, we've got roughly, most people say about maybe 150 million people that are invested in crypto so far worldwide. All right, is everybody with me on that number? Now, you might argue up and down. It's hard to tell. There's maybe more wallets than people, but most people agree it's around that. And in America, I think we're expecting it to double this year from like 10% of the population, I think up to 20-some% of the population, which would be like 60 or 70 million people. So this is going up. A bunch of intelligent people have forecast there'll be 1 billion people that own Bitcoin and crypto by 2025 at this rate of growth. Okay, that's 3 years from now, 3.5 years from now. If you look at the number of people that invested in Bitcoin a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that number almost directly tracks the price of Bitcoin, except for 1 year. It almost predicted the price of Bitcoin. And so I have very intelligent people like, again, Dan Moorhead, who runs $3 billion with Pantera Capital, said, Brian, based on that use case scenario, if we extrapolate that into the future, we can start seeing future prices of Bitcoin and these crypto assets. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, and these people don't like to predict prices, but that calls for something like a $500,000 to a $700,000 Bitcoin, which is 10x more than it is now to maybe 12x more than it is now. And I've asked a lot of smart people in this space, and they all say it's somewhere between 5 and 12x out, just based on the number of users, not to mention all of the incredible functionality that's possible on DeFi. And so that's the second point I really want everyone to understand here. If you just look at the rate of adoption, that alone will tell you where this space is moving. Does that make a little more sense to everybody here? Now let's extrapolate that even further. How many mobile phones are there in the world? How many people own mobile phones? Let me get a guess here. Throw out numbers in billions of people that own mobile phones. And if you're on social, on Instagram or YouTube, type in here 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see some fingers. 1. Bobo says 6 million people. Jason says 3 million people. Come on, Karina. Come on, Lynn. Everybody else got some numbers or type them in the chat? Ricardo says 10 billion people. I don't know if there are 10 billion people. All right, so we got 5 billion people, Angela. Okay, these are good points. So there's about 7.5 billion people on the earth that we know of. And right now, there's about 3.5 million of them have mobile phones. And if you extrapolate that further, if every one of those people has access to Bitcoin, and if you have access to a mobile phone, then you can now with a simple MetaMask wallet, which I get all my students to use in week 2 of our accelerator course, then you can start to see where this becomes. So by 2028 or so, they're predicting these numbers to be 3 and 4 billion. And again, all you need is a mobile phone to access these crypto asset markets. And it starts to get really interesting and really exciting. All right, is everybody with me here so far? And again, let me say one final thing. That number probably goes up because I think it's currently 3.5 billion people have access to a mobile phone. You would argue in 10 years from now, it's probably possible that almost every citizen has a mobile phone. They probably all going to have Facebook access too, if it's up to Mark Zuckerberg too, right? So, and in some countries, that's all they know what the internet is. They know it is Facebook. That's another story. So you can see this rate of adoption is potentially implying that this market's just going to be massive, not to mention the utility and the DeFi and all of those protocols alone. So is everybody with me here so far? Okay. Let me just take one break before I make my third point. There's an old, I think, Japanese expression that says there's two best times to plant a tree. One is 20 years ago, and the second best is today. Has anyone ever heard that proverb that I'm probably just butchering as we speak right now, right? The best time to start that new diet, right, was 20 years ago, or it's today, right? The point is that if you haven't done this in the past, and if you didn't buy Bitcoin back in 2010, anybody here buy Bitcoin back in 2013? A bunch of my students actually did. I bought some Bitcoin back in 2013, and I lost it. It's on some mobile phone somewhere, right? It was only one or two, not a lot of money. Well, now it is, right? There's some guy in London who's got $100 million worth of Bitcoin on a laptop in a dump somewhere, and he's literally going through the whole thing, right? Anybody have that experience here? Right? Okay. So again, you wish you would have bought it in the past, but the best thing you can do now is invest today, because I firmly believe that waiting 5 years or even 2 years, you're going to be too late in this space. Does everyone here understand that point here? And so again, the most important thing I'm trying to do lately with London Real is to just bring awareness to this space. And for all of the people here that came from our social accounts, and I know there's people live here now on YouTube, got hundreds of people here live. I will say, I know a lot of you are used to seeing, Navy SEALs on my show, right? And activists and all these different variety of people. And lately it's been a lot of DeFi and crypto. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm trying to get everyone's attention, okay? I'm trying to wake everybody up. And you can thank me 10 years from now if you want. You can, airdrop me some of your gains. No, I don't mean that. But you can just thank me, because even if you wake up to this and get a little bit involved in this market, it's going to change your future. It's also going to change your relationship with money. And this is happening no matter what. This is changing the game. And I'd rather you be early on this as opposed to late. All right, is everybody kind of with me here? Thumbs up for there as well. Okay, cool. All right, send me hearts on Instagram. I'm getting some here from YouTube as well. I'm getting some thanks and some people here as well. I'll get those YouTube comments in here. And so I'm just trying to get everybody to wake up to this fact and see what's happening. The last thing I want to talk about is this. The rate of growth of this market is the fastest we have seen in the history of humankind when it comes to a technology. Let me just repeat that. The rate of growth of adoption of this technology is the fastest we've ever seen in human history. Is everybody with me here as well, right? Now, what's the second best thing? First of all, say you don't believe me. Nah, that's not true, Brian. That can't be bigger than what? What are you going to say? Maybe the internet. Does anyone remember when the internet started to get adopted, right? And all of a sudden it was going crazy and the dot-com boom and all. I remember that. I'm a little older, right? That was a massive advancement of technology that was the fastest thing we had seen, that probably was the single biggest piece of technology that changed our lives the most over a short period of time. Would everyone agree? The internet was probably that thing. Before that, maybe it was electricity. Before that, maybe it was the steam engine, right? Is everybody feeling me? Maybe it was the airplane, right? But that kind of changed your life, and it took 10 or 20 or 30 years, and it had to follow through. The internet changed everybody pretty fast. Within 10 years, we were all on Facebook, we were using Amazon, we were searching on Google. It changed our lives. That was fast. Guess what the second massive piece of technology advancement was? Anyone want to guess? It's that thing in your pocket, right? Mobile phone. That changed the game, right? Everyone knows Angela's with me here, mobile phone. And if you're coming late to this Zoom, put your faces here. Good to see Vladimir. Good to see George. Good to see Tom Cribb. What's up? Good to see Mark with those shades. Good to see Ryan Smith. So turn those on. And again, if you can, leave me some questions here in the chat. I'm going to check them real quick so I can talk to a few of you. So again, those are two massive technologies. And according to one of my guests recently, Raoul Paul, those were being adopted at about a 60% year-on-year rate. And that compounded produces this drastic change in the markets. But a 60% rate of adoption is just massive. Is everyone kind of with me here as well? I mean, seeing that compounded over time just meant you were getting these huge orders of magnitude change. Let's talk about the cryptocurrency, blockchain, DeFi space. According to one of my guests recently, Raoul Paul, ex-Goldman Sachs, ex-fund manager guy who now spends his time really talking about big picture crypto stuff. He said, Brian, I've calculated this, and I think this is growing at a rate of about 110 or 115% annualized return, and it's compounding. He said, that's almost twice the rate that we saw the internet or the mobile phone grow. And those blew our minds and changed everything about our lives. All of you have interactions with the internet and your mobile phone every single day for probably multiple hours a day, right? All of you are on Facebook and Instagram, on Airbnb and Amazon. It's changed your life completely. So that was massive, and now we're seeing the cryptocurrency space. It looks like it's nearly doubled that rate. And if you compound that even over a couple of years, you start getting from 150 million users to a billion to 3.5 billion. This is the biggest technology adoption curve I think we're ever going to see in human history, period. And now you might say, well, Brian, 50 years from now, there could be something else. Well, maybe, but I think by then we're all plugged in. We're all in the metaverse. We all got goggles on. We're all in space and Mars with Elon Musk. What's going to be a major shift from there? I don't think it'll be that big of a change. Is everyone with me here so far? So I think this is very different because it shakes down to our core something we've never been able to exchange before, and that's value with each other without a middleman. And that's the thing about finance and money. We've never been able to, first of all, control it ourselves, to pass it between each other, and to exchange value. So right now, I'm looking at Angela here, and Jason, and Elijah, and Walter, and Vladimir, and Rachel, and I just appreciate you guys being here. I wish I could, I could right now send you a few tokens and say, hey, thanks for being here, right? A couple of years ago, there's no way I could do that. And to send you a few dollars right now would be really hard. I'd go on PayPal, and it'd be a real pain in the butt, right? Is everybody with me here? But right now, I could shoot you some love via some London Real tokens, which maybe will be coming soon. But the point is that guess what? PayPal doesn't take a cut. Amazon doesn't take a cut. iTunes doesn't take a cut. Facebook doesn't take a cut. And so guess what? We exchange it. And guess what happens when Angela gets a London Real token and London Real continues to crush it? Guess what? She now owns part of London Real. Isn't that cool? And now she's part of the community. And she can even suggest what the guests are in the future. And she becomes part of this whole governance ecosystem. And it's all peer-to-peer. And there's no middleman taking out a 30% cut in every single transaction, which is what's happening right now on Amazon. Everyone know what I'm talking about? Anyone use Amazon every day? Right? They're taking 30% out of between you and the creator of that product every single day. What about iTunes? Anyone buy movies on iTunes or stream music on iTunes? They're taking out 30% of that every single time. What about Facebook? Anyone ever advertise or consume advertisement on Facebook? They're taking out 30% of that piece. And they're putting all that value of what we call Web 2.0 right in their pockets. They get rich, the shareholders get rich, and all of us get a service, which is good. We really appreciate it. We love Web 2.0, but we're not part of that service. So we lose in the long run, and the creators lose in the long run because the middleman takes all the money. Does everyone kind of see what's happening here? So for the first time in history, we have a way of cutting out all those people. And now I can go directly to you and I can create communities, I can exchange value. And that's why we see NFTs all of a sudden really exciting, because the artist can have a relationship with the fan, and there's not some art dealer, right? There's not some record label, right? There's not some Spotify streaming service that's ripping all the money out of the trade. And now everyone's going direct. And I believe that's why this is being adopted so fast. This rate of growth is only because everyone feels they're part of this system. And that's the beautiful thing with happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the blockchain and everything I teach inside the DeFi Academy. Now, when you buy into those protocols, not only are you empowering the future and believing in the future and betting on the future and helping build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future and helping people around the world get banking access, you're also a shareholder, and you win when everyone else wins. And no one's in the middle taking a cut out of it. Does everyone see that a beautiful, amazing thing that's happening there? All right, I see some thumbs, maybe not everybody. Okay, again, sometimes it takes a while to get these concepts. I think you need to hear them probably 100 different times from 100 different people. And that's why we have guests on every single week, because I want to give you a different version of this message every single week until you get it, right? And again, it's one thing to get it, and then you can really get it, and then now I really get it, Brian. Okay, so again, I've been talking about crypto on London Real since 2013. So it's taken me 8 years to get it, right? So it's okay if it takes you a little bit of time. We've been talking about these concepts, and I finally clicked, and I could see this is the future. So this is a very special ecosystem. We call it Web 3.0, and all of the rules change with Web 3.0. Everything you thought you knew about a business, about art, right? About finance, it all goes out the window because there's brand new rules, because we have a new medium, we have a new blockchain where everything is transparent, everything is trustless, everything is permissionless, and it all becomes super exciting. And that's why I'm imploring anybody watching me right now to make sure you start understanding these systems and markets now. And again, even if you start small, I'd rather you do it now because next year it's going to be too late. I really believe next year is going to be too late. I think this is a crucial moment in time. Honestly, every month I'm in this space, it changes drastically. This space has changed massively in the last 3 or 4 months to where it's hard to recognize it and it's hard to keep up. Even the top market capital coins have changed. Nobody heard of Solana a few months ago. Now it's top 10, right? Nobody heard of some Avalanche. Now it's top 10. All these things are happening. Cardano was an idea. Now it's a top 3 market cap. And we're talking to all of these CEOs to find out what's the future, how we can be involved. And now for the first time, you can invest in these blockchains and do it intelligently to position yourself for the future. And so I would just say to anybody who is watching me on any of these platforms, now is the time to take action and invest in these marketplaces. And you can do it really simply. You can do it by investing a little bit of time or a little bit of knowledge or a small amount of assets and learn the ropes. And just to tell you that I put my money where my mouth is, just a few weeks ago, I got 2 very different ladies in my life to invest in the decentralized ecosystems. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Raise your hand if you've been following London Real, you know what I'm talking about. And I can't believe Kim and Joe are still up. What is it, 4 a.m. where you guys are at and down under? This got Kim and Joe here on Zoom, 2 of my most excellent students inside DeFi Academy and Team Rose. They stay up late for the calls, now they're staying up now. But they know that recently I got my 17-year-old daughter, Gabby, to get into crypto and DeFi. She now has a MetaMask wallet. She's got Ethereum. And she hit me with a bunch of questions the other day. She's like, what's going on with Bitcoin? I was like, since when do you care? And she does care, and she's using it, and she understands these protocols. And I couldn't be more excited. And I've told her, I said, young lady, blockchain is the future. And she said, well, yeah, but I'm going to go to college, and I'm going to get a degree in this. I said, great, but make sure you also learn about blockchain because you can combine that with your degree. And all the smart people are saying that blockchain is the space to focus on. If I was a young man graduating from MIT this year, like I did in 1993, I would be going not to Wall Street, I would be going into blockchain. Is everyone with me here? That's where the future is. And again, you can learn all this stuff not through traditional means. I mean, right now there are universities offering courses, but I've checked them out and they're about as boring as sin, right? They remind me of one of my lectures in physics back in the day. These people don't know how to interact with you. They don't understand communities. They don't understand content, and they're actually not even talking to the people in the space. So continue your education always on your own. And as Mark Twain once said, never let your school interfere with your education. So you should be constantly learning all the time. And if you look at London Real the last 10 years, all I've really been doing here, it looks like a show. Not really. It's just me learning. That's all I'm doing for 10 years. I just have a good excuse to get the best in the world to come to my personal classroom and sit in my leather chair and teach me for 2 or 3 hours. And you all get to watch. But it's really the reason why I've been continuing to grow, because I'm constantly learning. So my daughter, Gabby, 17 now, and guess what? My mom, Betty Rose, bless her, she's 76 years old. She lives in San Diego, California. She has all of her money in real estate assets, fixed assets. Anybody else here feel comfortable in real estate or other fixed assets? Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, who's been on my show many times, he, as well, is very comfortable with real assets. And guess what? Recently, Robert is buying Bitcoin. He's buying Ethereum, and he talked to me about why. My mom now has Ethereum, all right? Amazing stuff, all right? And my team here just hit the gong in the studio, and that means someone just joined our academy, and I'll talk about that later. But if you're ever here and you hear the gong, that's why. All my guests ring the gong as well. Has anybody ever seen the gong? I'm going to do a sound of the gong as well. So, but my mom is now invested in Ethereum, and I sent her some stable coin, and she said, wow, this is like a US dollar? I said, yeah. She's like, wow, that's really cool. So my mom, 76, now has real estate and she has crypto, and she's using it now. So I have these 2 incredible women in my life, separated by 59 years, both quite new to this space, and yet both are going to now be using DeFi and crypto for their future, and they're going to start to understand these things. And I also sent my mom one chain link as well, because she gave birth to me. I figure might as well throw her a link as well. So she's got some crypto from me, and she's all set, right? Thank you very much. So I'm telling you, I'm just not talking about this stuff. We're taking action here. And that's what I also do inside of DeFi Academy. So I think we've just hit right up near our 500th student. And all of you know, raise your hand, by the way, if you're in our academy, you joined. I know Clint's in the house, obviously Kim and Joe here. We got Jason, Liam as well. So you guys know what we do. We push everybody into these markets, whether you're ready or not, in very small amounts to where you know what a hot wallet is. You know what a cold wallet is. You understand what it's like to own Bitcoin versus owning Ethereum. You understand what it's like to get on some of these centralized exchanges, to lend out your coins, to borrow your coins, to create liquidity pools, even to buy something as scary as an option. Oh my gosh, right? an option. But an option actually, it's something that anyone I think can own and can really experience what that financial instrument is like. And so I just want to say to everybody here, it's an incredible opportunity to understand this space, but I believe the way to do it best is to jump in. I'm a big fan of doing and learning by taking action. Anybody else here like that concept, taking action? And for all of you here on Zoom, let me see your pictures. I want to see some action, Grant and Greg and Thomas. But yeah, I'm a big fan of pushing myself. And if you look at my life, it's a bit of that, right? I ran an Ironman race a few years ago because one of my guests said, Brian, you're going to run an Ironman race on a vegan diet in 90 days. And I was like, okay. And guess what? I learned all about triathlons. I learned all about plant-based eating. My wife, Mariana, had to learn how to cook the plant-based eating. I think that was my biggest challenge of that whole adventure. But we learned so much in the process. And I learned actually I could do these things. I could eat this way. And I've got so many examples over time with London Real. The fastest way to learn is by doing. It's the most uncomfortable way to learn. Does everyone know what I'm talking about here? It's actually the most horrific from a brain power. And all my students are like, yeah, Brian, we know. But in 4 weeks inside our DeFi Academy, I'm telling you, my students know more than 99% of the crypto and DeFi traders out there. Most of these people have never actually done the things that teach them about these building blocks of the infrastructure. And so, again, I want to say, first of all, I appreciate everybody who has been with me over the transition of watching us go from fighting for freedom of speech last year, which we did so, and we're so proud of the work we did last year. We're so proud of that work. And honestly, if I had spare time, I would be reminding people of all the great work we did last year and try to put it in their face. But I don't have time to do that. And then we ran to be mayor of London because we wanted to change the system from a grassroots level. And now we understand that DeFi is the future. It's the future of everything we have. It actually is becoming more human, this whole concept of the blockchain. And it's something I'm getting more and more in tune with because we're actually becoming how we should be as humans. Something where we interact with each other, where we can go into an environment where we can trust each other, where we can all rely on each other, and we can have these beautiful systems that work, where we don't have to worry about some middleman or some weird capitalist structure taking a chunk out that we don't know where it goes. We can all be part of that future. And so that's why we've gone all in on this, on London Real lately. That's why we created the DeFi Academy. And honestly, it's been the most successful thing we've ever launched, thanks to all of our students, all the ones you're seeing here. Everyone is loving the experience. They're learning so much. They're getting involved. We are actively involved here as well. And I'm getting fortunate enough to speak with some of the best minds in the planet. And so that is all happening inside our DeFi Academy. A lot of you here have been through that experience. And again, I hate using the word boot camp because it's overused, but we really do get you in there. And with our amazing community of people from, I think we typically have 20 or 30 countries around the world that are represented in our community at once. We got a lot of Aussies, a lot of Kiwis in the house, a lot of people in Asia, a lot of people in America and South America, and we rep the whole global time span, which is what crypto is. And we all bring something unique to the table. I've got people with multi-million-dollar portfolios. I got people with less than $1,000. I've got people who own DeFi protocols. I've got people with venture capital funds. I also have people who've never traded a crypto in their life, right? Is everybody with me here? And actually, they all bring value. That's the crazy thing. They all bring value. My daughter, Gabby, 17 years old, asked some of the best questions I've ever heard about this space because she's coming with completely a blank slate, and she asks some really good questions. So is my mom. Questions that I sometimes have to really give thoughtful answers for. So this whole community is coming together, and we're creating this future. And the thing is, we're all building this ecosystem. And every time you invest in one of these blockchains, you're actually investing in a piece of software that's going to change billions of people's lives. And so what I want to say is, for everybody that's here watching me right now, take some action today to learn about this ecosystem. Again, I think the fastest way to learn is to invest a small amount of money, even if it's $10 into this ecosystem, because when you do, you've got skin in the game. Has anyone heard that expression, skin in the game, right? And again, I've had guests like Kim Kiyosaki, Robert Kiyosaki's wife, and Robert himself. And Kim was here one time. She's amazing. And she's big on female empowerment and finance, and I'm totally with her. I think we all need to be empowered in finance. I mean, in school, as Robert Kiyosaki once said, they don't teach us about money. Anybody find that funny in your school? Did anyone ever teach you about money in school? They teach you about everything else, right? Teach you PE, they teach you about history, teach you all these other stuff, but they don't ever teach you about money. Isn't that weird, right? We've grown up in a world that has removed money from our whole visibility. And what happens? These institutions, they take between 8 and 10% of the entire world's GDP every single year into their pockets. And guess what? You don't even know it's happening, right? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Raise your hand. You don't even know it's happening because there's no fee. There's no this or that. They're just told, guess what? We'll handle your pension. We've got it. Don't worry, we've got it. We'll handle your savings. Your home mortgage, we can take care of that. Your student loan, we can take care of that. Yeah, but no, it's okay. We got it. You don't understand about money. It's very complicated. We've got it. Why don't you just go back to doing your thing? That's what we've been sold, right? And I don't think that's acceptable. Our money is almost our direct relationship with the world and all of us. It's not a bad thing. It's not a dirty thing. Who's been told money's evil, right? Money's bad. Money's for greedy people. These are all narratives that have been portrayed by a system that makes money by us not knowing. And again, I'm not saying there's any conspiracy. I leave that to my guests. All I'm saying is it's a system that self-perpetuates because it's in their interest. And guess what? Now is the time to change all of that. So whenever any of you get involved in this space and invest, you are helping to change the future. And it's a future where we're transparent, where we can now be part of these systems, where you can actually support your favorite artists. How would you like to do that? Your favorite musicians and artists, how would you like them to see your investments, right? Not Spotify, not Apple. You know, Apple's got enough money. Not Google, not Facebook. And I know we're streaming on a lot of these platforms, and we appreciate you. But I will say, we got to change this. Not to mention, last year, my content, I couldn't even share with you because of one of these gatekeepers, right? Does everyone know that, right? A variety of the gatekeepers. So even from a censorship point of view, we are going in the right direction. From a censorship, from an ownership, from a community. So this is happening right now, and the best way to do it is to learn and educate yourself. And so we're going all in. You can do that by watching our content. Obviously, our academy is where we really get people into this intense experience. It's actually a little less than 4 weeks, but by the end of it, you will know more about crypto than 99% of the people, even in the business. And you'll understand the protocols, the lending pieces, the DeFi, the options, the liquidity pools, and you'll be ready to be positioned for the future. And again, trust me, your kids will thank you, your grandkids will thank you, because right now with a small group of people, so far our 500 students, we're creating generational wealth for them and ourselves, and we're creating the financial infrastructure of the future and helping 2 billion people in the world that are currently unbanked. They don't have access to these financial services. And I believe that you can do both of those things at the same time. Not only can you, but that's the only way they happen, is that everyone has to win in this situation. And so you can invest in the blockchain and you can put your capital to work. You can reap those rewards and other people can get access to these financial services that they never have. Is everybody with me on this concept? Okay. And so stop feeling guilty about money. Stop feeling guilty about making good investments. It's time to get reconnected with our money. It's time to get reconnected with our value system, where I can exchange some value to Angela. Angela's giving me tons of love here on the Zoom call. I wish I could shoot her, a few hundred coins, and I'll do this in the future. Imagine if we could do this right now, and this whole system could be tokenized, where we all now have a tokenized and a blockchain relationship with each other, and we can hang out later and meet up, and we can see this, and we can collaborate on this. This is what the future of the blockchain is. It's not just about making some profits on Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's a lot more than that. This is going to change everything. And we all need to be involved, just because it's going to affect your future and it's going to make a big part, a change of your life. So that's what I'm here to say. I would just say for everybody here, I appreciate everybody being here. If you want to learn more, our academy is the best place. We're actually starting a brand new course on Monday. And if you want to be a part of that, it's really simple. You just go, a lot of you have already done that. You go to our page and you just send a quick application. I read them personally. I'm going to go read a bunch after this. And if I feel the right energy, I want to bring you in because this is an amazing place and an amazing community. So check that out. I think it's londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI. And again, I want to see if I can just hopefully field a couple questions here that are maybe coming in the chat. So again, I'm going to try to see if I can just access my chat, but type any questions that you have for me here, and I'm going to see if I can answer a few final things. I don't want to keep everybody too long because I know everyone's out there busy doing their jam, but I would just say we are here to educate. If you go to londonreal.tv, we've got, I think, about 20 episodes so far that we've done on DeFi. I've done some live episodes as well where I talk to camera for like 90 minutes and I talk about options trading. I talk about DeFi protocols. I talk about liquidity pools. I talk about hot wallets and cold wallets. I go through all of this stuff. So there's all this training, and you can watch some of the greatest guests on the show as well. It's all on londonreal.tv. And again, the academy is happening. Our next course kicks off on Monday. We've got a whole new group of students. I just had my last call with our third course tonight. It's an amazing group of people. They're all jumping into our DeFi Market Wizards transparent trading group. So they've got people all around the world that are posting their positions. My graduates are already making money in August. They're posting their returns for September right now. Some of them are making good money in September because They're using certain option strategies. They're using stop losses and doing some really smart things, which was a hard month for someone. But one of our students, she just posted some fat returns for September. And again, everyone can see what she's doing. So we're trying to create a small group of people that we trust that we can do going forward. And again, you can't get access to these things unless you graduate from our academy, which means we have to accept your application. You have to go through the 4 weeks, and then you're in the family. You're in La Familia, right? And so you're part of this for the next 10 years, and we want to build incredible things in the future. Sounds exciting, right? Give me some thumbs up, give me some love. I get excited just talking about this stuff. So a few questions in here. I just want to go through them on, I got Van Hewen that says, is the course live? Yes, I think I've been actually teaching online for 7 years. I've taught broadcasting, I've taught public speaking, and I've also taught business creation. And we've been doing this. I've actually been on Zoom for 7 years, just for the record. All right. So we've been doing this interactive coursework. We know how to build communities. We know how to create amazing groups. And so we teach live. I do 8 hours of live calls on this course. We do Monday calls, Thursday calls at 6 p.m. London time. We also record them if you can't be there. I also have about 10 or 12 different team leaders and community managers. And this group is all about action, action, action. So you get me fired up with a different tie combination every single call. That's for free. And then we go and we workshop your questions. Thank you, Kim and Joe. I appreciate you guys. We workshop the questions. We go through the protocols, and then I've got 4 modules where I go really deep on all of these important parts of DeFi, including the history of DeFi and cryptocurrency. Then I go into hot and cold storage system. We get you on centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges. Then we go big into yield swapping, liquidity pools, options trading, and we finish off with trading discipline. How can you make sure that you trade like the Terminator? And I go into things called my 10 coin rule, my 30-day watch list, all these systems, and then we transparently trade with each other so we can keep each other accountable. It's an amazing program, and we're super proud of it. So again, the next one starts Monday, 6 p.m. So if you want to see me in the same getup, it's londonreal.tv/DeFi. Take 60 seconds and just give me a sentence or two about why we should have you in the course. I'm looking for exceptional people with great energy. I'm too old to surround myself with bad energy. I really am. I just want good vibes and good peer groups in my life. Kim and Joe know what I'm talking about, right? And so it's true. There's a ton of people out there, and there's a ton of people that want to be in this course, and I get it. There's also a ton of people that just want to make money in crypto, and I'm for a long-term perspective. This is not get rich quick. This is not for day traders. I actually don't want these people in my course. So if that's you, go somewhere else. Trust me, there's someone else out there that wants to sell you something, I'm sure, for those kind of aims. I'm talking about someone with a long-term investment that wants to really build these new systems and also create this generational wealth you can pass on for generations to come, maybe for 1,000 years. Michael Saylor thinks Bitcoin is the best investment for 1,000 years. That's the kind of mentality we're doing in this course. So if you want to be a part of that, you know where it is. A couple more questions here. I'm just going through here. Let me just say, question from someone here says, they're trying to get the whole concept of crypto. Is there a market maker as far as crypto is concerned? And for those of you on Instagram and YouTube right now, I just want to clarify what that means. Back in the day, if you saw the trading pits in Chicago, anyone ever see the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, right? They're trading the frozen concentrated orange juice futures, right? I love that movie. I got to watch that again, right? So you see them in the pits and they're yelling and stuff. And I used to go to those pits when I was in Chicago. I was a trader at the First National Bank of Chicago, and I had brokers from Solomon Brothers and a bunch of others. And I'd go down to the pits because they would trade my bond futures and my Eurodollar futures. And I'd go down there, and it was mayhem in there. There was like, in the bond future pit, there were 300, mostly dudes, mostly ex-American football players, 250, 300 pounds, nasty. And they would push and shove and yell all day long in order to make markets and make money. So crypto didn't have that about 8 years ago when I had Max Kaiser on the show, when we both complained that it was really hard to buy a Bitcoin. I bought my Bitcoin at $85 in 2013. And I was complaining I couldn't buy more and I had to pay over the thing. And he said, Brian, there's no market makers in crypto. That's the problem. There's no liquidity. And the answer to that question is that was from Camo, by the way, from Camo. That's all been solved because now, through the beauty of decentralized finance and the beauty of taking the banks out of this equation, people have created DeFi protocols that create tokens that incentivize people in order to provide liquidity. So I was going to shoot Angela some tokens for giving me this positive energy on this call. There's other protocols that shoot you tokens for providing liquidity on the call, right? They shoot you tokens for making markets. And that's what Aave and Compound did in the DeFi summer of 2020. They exploding lending protocols. And I had Stanley Kulichov in here. He's got $19 billion of lending on his protocol, Aave. He's a kid from Helsinki, Finland. I don't want to know how many billions of dollars he's worth. It doesn't even matter anymore. All these crypto kids are rich. Now all they want to do is focus on the future. That's why I love this space. And he created a protocol, a computer program that attracted the liquidity. And guess what he did? He gave Aave tokens out to everybody who traded on his platform. Imagine that, going to Amazon and Apple and Google and Facebook, and they give you shares in the company for being on there. Imagine that, right? If you're listening, maybe you guys should do that sooner than later, if you know what I mean. That's what the blockchain's doing. So Aave and Compound are all out. How can we share the wealth? How can we share the liquidity and incentivize liquidity and allow everyone to win? So to answer your question, Kamo, that's how we've created liquidity, by giving out tokens to incentivize that there are two-way markets. That brings more people in the markets. That brings the stable coins in the market, which is, again, an amazing programmable piece of technology that helps my mom, Betty Rose, get into this market easier, right? If she's got a stable coin in her wallet, it's worth $1 today, it's worth $1 tomorrow, it's worth $1 next month. She can get her head around that. If she's got Bitcoin in her wallet, it's crazy. It's maybe too crazy. So again, you see all of these innovations happening, and it's only happening because it's decentralized. Anybody with code can put it out there. It gets tested. It's on the blockchain. It's transparent. That's why it's innovating at such a fast rate. If it was just a bunch of greedy bankers doing this, and I used to be a greedy banker, I just want to be clear about everybody with that. For 15 years I was. I've seen the way they work. And what they would do is they would never innovate because it's not in their interest. They're making big fat money right now, so it's not in their interest to innovate. Luckily, we have DeFi, and now people are literally creating protocols, and they're eating the lunch of those bankers. And right now, they're providing a better service to all of you. That sounds cool, right? Is everybody with me here? Right? Again, I'm just getting more excited talking about this. So if you want to come down this journey with us, come, please join us. If you want, apply to DeFi Academy. Go watch our content on Unreal TV. You can learn all about this stuff, and this is just a great ecosystem of this happening. The more I learn, the more I start to see all the possibilities. And again, I'm going to do a broadcast, I think on Monday, about NFTs. How many people have heard about NFTs? Just raise your hand if you kind of know what I'm talking about. It sees a lot of people know these crazy digital JPEGs that are being sold for, the Beeple's, the first 5,000 days was sold, and now the equivalent of $150 million. It's a JPEG. Yes, you can right-click it and save it on your hard drive too, but you don't own the NFT. Is that crazy? It's not crazy. It's actually an indicator of the potential and the future of this whole ecosystem. So the NFTs are actually a sign, and they're waving, and they're saying, hey, I want to get your attention. You need to be in this market. This is not an anomaly. This is just showing you a little peek of where the future is going to come. And it's going to happen in ways that is even hard for us to conceive. Because most of us were brought up in this system, right? Where you're a consumer. The only thing you ever owned in your life was maybe a home, right? Think about your grandparents. Raise your hand if anybody can think about their grandparents right now. What did they actually own in their lives? Anything? Maybe, if you were lucky, some of them owned a business. Most of them didn't. Maybe they owned a home. That's probably it. The future in this system is we all own everything. We all own our identity. We own our content. We own pieces of everything. We transfer that ownership on a regular basis. It's the ownership generation, and that's the paradigm shift, and it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And again, I got a 17-year-old right now that owns something. When I was 17, I didn't own anything. I had a lot of debt, right? But I didn't own anything. I don't think I owned an asset until I was in my 30s because it wasn't programmed in. So what did I do? I worked for money. Robert Kiyosaki says, poor people work for money, rich people make money work for them. Has anyone ever heard him say that? It's a hard thing to hear. I'm gonna say it again. And it's very polarizing. Poor people work for money, and rich people make money work for them. Which one are you? I worked for money most of my life. Even when I was a banker, I worked for money. I didn't own part of the bank. They still paid me. And so guess what? You get used to this paycheck, and it's almost like a drug, and you'll do anything to get it, and it's never enough. Rich people make money work for them. How do they do it? They own assets. That's how they do it. Is everybody clear? They own assets. Robert Kiyosaki owns businesses. People own companies. Now you can own tokens and own blockchains. And my daughter now owns something. And that's an amazing thing. And she can start to practice what ownership is like. And guess what happens when you own things? All of the taxation laws are in your favor. Isn't that amazing? And people always complain that people that own things don't pay taxes. Guess what? You have that right as well. It's a free country. You could do what they do. It's not like they get special treatment. And so again, there's real incentive to own things and to start making money work for you. And I think the crypto space is a great way to do that. So, all right, let me answer a couple more questions. Again, I appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody here on YouTube as well. I'm going to try to give you some love as well. I got some people that are loving crypto here and all sorts of good stuff coming here. And Instagram, I'm loving you as well. But Zoom, I'm sorry, I'm giving big love to my Zoom family here. Again, put your cameras on if you want to Zoom. I'm going to wrap this up soon because I could literally talk for 2 hours about crypto. And I do every week inside the Academy. Again, if you want to join us, shoot me an application. Worst case, say hi on the application because you know I'm going to read it. So go to LondonReal.tv/DeFi. I'll go read it right after this call. But I'm telling you, this will change your life. And for the investment it's like it's a move in crypto in one day on your P&L for the price of the course. So it's an amazing investment for the future. And Kim and Joe know what I'm talking about. Okay, a couple more questions here. We got Craig White in the house. We got Bruce Chalmers on YouTube that says Web 3.0 is the future. And that's what we're talking about here. And yesterday I spoke in length with Richard Muirhead, who's got $130 million he's investing right now in Web 3.0. And again, Web 3.0 is the open economy. It's blockchain applied not just to finance, but applied to everything. And that starts making everything exciting. Again, think of me last year fighting for freedom of speech, trying to stream my content online, and I couldn't get it to you. So we had to create our own platform, and it was very difficult and very expensive. Imagine if we could have put it on the blockchain. Imagine that. And you could have owned a piece of it. And you could have had it and kept it wherever you wanted. I couldn't even upload my files on Dropbox. They deleted my account. They're not even supposed to be looking at my account, but they deleted it. So imagine if we could go peer-to-peer. Imagine the stuff you could do with artists and creation, not to mention everything else in this world. Imagine if politics was all public on the blockchain. Can you imagine that? I just ran for mayor of London. Nobody, trust me, no politician wants that. I mean, I do, but nobody wants that. Imagine if you could see every single piece of spending, every single decision, every single vote on a public blockchain. Can anybody imagine that in the future? Politics would change as we know it, and it wouldn't be this thing that everyone grumbles about and complains about. It would be just the truth, and that's a beautiful thing. All right, a couple more questions. Again, I hope you all join me on the Academy. We're going to kick it off on Monday. It's an amazing group, and we're just getting warmed up. A couple more here. I got Chronicky Crypto on YouTube. I saw you up there either. First of all, great name. I love you. People say crypto may lead to world peace and true equality. What are your thoughts? You know, it's a great question. I've got people, and I think Kim and Joe can attribute this. I got people in my academy right now and people in Team Rose in my personal team that come from a meditation background. They come from a plant medicine background, right? They come from a human movement background. And they say, Brian, I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here. Like, I'm not into finance. I'm not into wealth management. But this feels to me to be like an empowerment vehicle for humankind. And you know what I tell them? I said, you're right. You're not crazy. That's exactly what this is. Web 3.0 it's a paradigm shift. And I had Sandeep Nailwal here, the CEO of Polygon. Does anyone know Polygon? It's a second layer solution for Ethereum, makes it really fast and really cheap. Amazing guy. Actually, one of the few startups we've seen in the blockchain space be successful from India, and there's going to be more coming, by the way. And he said, Brian, this isn't a technology issue. This is a paradigm shift. It's our mentality of we were brought up thinking that the king and the queen made the decisions. This is 300 or 400 years ago. I know a lot of you don't remember that. You weren't old enough, right? Then it became a government. Then it became a bank. Then it became Google and Facebook. But there was always someone else that was giving us permission to do something, right? Even your bank holds your money in custody. You can't get that money out. Say the bank just decides tomorrow that you're shady. Guess what? They keep your money. So this is a whole paradigm shift of saying we're going to take control. And it's not going to be an emperor or a government or a bank or a media company that controls us. So that's the shift. And I see a lot of people coming from different spaces, and they come to London Real because we've been real about so many things over the last 10 years, including human movement and plant medicine and breathing and meditation and all this ownership stuff. And so it's actually very congruent with what we've been talking about. And once you really see it, you can be like, oh, this isn't about money and finance. This is about empowerment and the future. And it's actually, the last thing I want to say here, it's about human rights. I think the last major human right, besides freedom of speech and free and fair elections, which we've been fighting for, and still we need to fight for, but at least everyone's aware of those things. But the right to finance, human financial freedom, 2 billion people in the world don't have access to basic financial services. Imagine that. And I always talk about this story of two women, both 76-year-old mothers who raised 3 kids on their own. and both have very different realities. One is my mom, Betty Rose, in San Diego. One is a 76-year-old woman in Ethiopia who worked hard her whole life, raised 3 kids on her own, and tried to save. And guess what? One of them had access to financial markets and assets that she could invest in. That's my mom. The other one had a local currency that was devalued, had chaotic atmosphere, and no way to hold an amount of savings. And so one had a different financial reality than the second. Does everyone feel me here? And guess what? Now, because both have access to a mobile phone, they can now store value in digital property, also known as Bitcoin. Imagine if they had that right 20 years ago. You could save money that no one else could change. A government couldn't take away, a rebellion couldn't take away, and nobody could. And imagine if both of those females had access to a store of value or financial services. That's a basic human right that 2 billion people don't have access to right now. We can change all that. And the faster we work and the harder we work, the quicker that will change. So really important. Let me go to a few more questions. Again, come watch more of our content on LearnReal.tv. Join our academy, at least apply and give me a shout out. I'd love to see you. A couple more questions as well. I got Bobo here, who's in the US, and is asking about different policies in the US and different countries around the world. So great question. Does anybody here struggle to know what crypto is doing in your country and whether it's legal and the options and the exchanges? That's a real issue. So again, first of all, we have a global student base in our academy, so we actually hear before anybody else does what's happening. I got students in Texas, I got students in New York, I got students in Florida, I got students in Georgia, California, Singapore. Obviously, we got the Kiwis and the Aussies that punch way above their weight. Kim and Joe. I mean, the Kiwis and Aussies are literally represent so hard in our academy. It's like, seriously, you guys are amazing. I mean, seriously. And just to say on that, the Kiwis and the Aussies, they've always been big supporters of London Real, because I think they're always thinking forward. I think all you guys down there are always thinking forward. You're always ahead of the curve on fitness, on nutrition, on mindset, and on practices. You are. And that's why I think you guys represent probably 20% of our academy. It's amazing. And I think it's that mentality of being open to new ideas that pushes you guys in the future. And it's an amazing thing. So I get to hear from all these people in the world about what's happening with regulation, and we get to feedback on what's happening. So again, certain centralized exchanges are getting problems in certain countries of the world. Certain states in America are having problems, and they're slowing them down when it comes to, say, options trading. I got the Celsius CEO tomorrow, who was put on blast by New Jersey and New York State for their yield swapping issues. We're watching what's happened with Coinbase as well. So we talk about all of these issues in the local areas, and we try to advise. For most people, maybe if you're not in China, you can still own some of these currencies. You just have to be a little careful with some of the instruments. And I'm a big fan of following the law as well, but I think you can also do that and still be involved in this ecosystem. Let me say one final thing about China. Has anyone heard about China banning everything in crypto? Has anyone ever seen that? Everybody seen this on YouTube and stuff, right? One thing I want to say about this, when it comes to media, first of all, be very careful what media you consume and how you consume it and what you do with it. It's one of the big lessons I teach inside the academy. All right. Most of the media out there in crypto is trying to get you to do one thing, to transact when you shouldn't transact, right? And if you look at all the apps, they're made by all the people from the gaming industry in Vegas, and they know how to get you buzzing and beeping and freaking out and emotional. So you'll make bad day crypto trades and you'll lose money 80% of the time, which is true. Most crypto traders lose all their money. And that's why we don't day trade in my academy. So be careful of your news sources, A. B, if you look at the record, every time China bans something, its value usually triples or quadruples. All right. This is actually, if you can plot it, they banned Facebook. Remember, they banned Google. Those are all banned in China, right? They banned crypto, I think now 7 times they banned it and if you see it, every time it goes up, 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 up. My guest recently from Pantera Capital had a whole article about this and a graph, and it showed you all the times you should invest whenever China bans something, okay? So this is a very hard thing to stop moving, is what I'm trying to say, because it's decentralized. Yes, there will be regulation that will potentially slow this down, but it can't stop this at this point. It really can't stop this. And the reason it can't stop it is because all of you want it. That's it. And we're seeing this on Wall Street as well. I worked on Wall Street for many years, and we're seeing JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs putting their clients in crypto and talking about crypto. Has everyone seen this? The same CEOs that said it was toxic rat poison 2 years ago are now putting their clients in, right? Now, why are they doing that? Because their clients are asking for it. And trust me, bankers only care about one thing, right? They care about making money. And if they realize that they can't give crypto to their customers, guess what their customers are going to do? They're going to go somewhere else to the next bank. And so they know they better get with the program. And so this is changing as we speak. And when you've got major banks in New York putting hundreds of millions to billions of dollars in these crypto protocols, trust me, this is going one way, right? These people know. They know. Trust me, these people are not going to be happy if they get called up by the Fed tomorrow and say, by the way, you got to get all of that. They're going to say, oh, really? Do you know I elect you? So it's all related. So that's the way I look at regulation, and that's the way I look at some of this stuff. Be careful how you consume the news. And that's why I tell all my students to be very careful on their information diet as well. And this is stuff we cover in the academy. All my academy students are nodding. They're like, yep, Brian, we get it. And all the new people are thinking, no, this is kind of interesting. But nobody talks about this stuff, especially in the media. The media wants to scare you every single day and get you to make emotional decisions. I'm in this for 10 years. I've been around traders, and the real traders don't trade that way. They trade slow and methodically and intelligently. They put stop losses in. They take their profits. They have a transparent peer group where they get to show them their losses. We talk about things, and we have a 10-year perspective. So that's the way to win. All right, let me talk. Bobo says you're a student, and you're just wondering about the program and just if it's going to apply for you as well. So, look, our program, it's 4 weeks. Again, when I look at the entire crypto space and the long-term potential of this space, I actually think the price of this course is probably a tenth of what it should be. I think it's very reasonable. We don't like people paying in payment plans and things like that, because I want people to be able to afford it as well. So again, if you can't, watch the free content. But if you can, try to get in there and get an accountability group and get a peer group and get someone who can push you and mentor you into this space, because there's tons of opportunities right now, and the time to do it is now and not next year. All right, I got to do a couple more questions and I'm going to wrap up. I promised my team I was going to keep it short. I think I've just lied. I think it's like an hour. But look, I'm going to wrap this up is what I'll say. I'll just say to anybody watching here, come see us and come join us. It's LeonardVille.tv. If you want to apply for the academy, LeonardVille.tv/DeFi, DEFI. Tell your friends, tell your family. We have a new class kicking off on Monday. It's so much fun. It's an amazing ecosystem. The community itself is just such good vibes and good energy. And you might as well have fun when you're doing this. You might as well be surrounded by super positive people. And this is a great market. It's also a crazy market. So again, it can be very lonely out there on your own. And I feel for you. I don't know, raise your hand if you're the weirdo at the party that talks about crypto. You're the one in your family that talks about it at Christmas, right? And everyone's like, what's she on about, right? Right? What's Rachel talking about? Not the crypto again. But then someone's like, yeah, but did you see how much money she made? All right, so most of us are the weirdos in the conversation. And I bring them all together in one room. And now we're just this massive force. And I think that's how we really multiply. And I always use that old adage. I think Nelson Mandela said, you can go fast alone or you can go further together. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to go really far together as a group, as a team, as we build these systems in the future. So that's the plan. And thank you all for coming tonight. I hope some of this has helped. I'm learning so much on the front lines here. And I try to bring it all together and distill it and try to give it to you in a way that's helpful for you. I would just say, if any of this stuff is confusing or you don't understand some of the terms, I was just like you for the past few years. I had Max Kaiser on in 2013 talking about Bitcoin. I had Andreas Antonopoulos on in 2015, 2017, 2019 talking about Ethereum and the future of money. I had Tika Tawari on talking about all of his coins that made tons of London Realers, tons of money. And I still didn't really get it, right? Does everyone know what I'm talking about? I'll admit it. I didn't really get it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't see that it was the future. And again, we were doing other things. We were a little busy fighting for the freedom of speech and a little busy running to change London. And I'm glad we did those things. But now we have woken up and seen the potential. So I would just say to everybody here, just wake up, watch what's happening here, and get involved a little bit. And the best way to involve is to put a small trade on or to learn about it or to get around a group of people that are doing it, because you will thank yourself to be in early. And this is going to change your life regardless. This is happening. This is happening either way. Just like the internet and the mobile phone is happening. I know a few people that don't have a mobile phone, but they're old people that yell a lot, right? That most people now have mobile phones and use the internet every day. And this same is true with blockchain and crypto. It will become a part of your life. I'd rather you be the one that kind of, offers those terms. And hopefully you're part of that system and you're building it and profiting as well. So those are my final messages. Again, please shoot me an application so I know who you are. It's simple. It's just like name, email. You type out a sentence, and again, shoot me an application, LondonReal.tv/DeFi. I'd love to see you. We start live Monday night. To all my other students here, I look forward to you guys in Wizards and Kings of DeFi, where we go into all the advanced protocols and the advanced options trading, the technical analysis, and the NFTs. We had a whole nother second course we do after the accelerator, but you got to graduate from the accelerator first, and then you get access to all the wizards. So again, to all of my people here, I appreciate you. Let's go do some beautiful things. For all the new people here, so glad that you're here. Hope you learned something from this. Go do something, learn a little bit more. You can learn a lot from our website as well. I got a live broadcast tomorrow, 1 p.m. UK time as well, from one of the top leaders in the industry. I got 2 more next week. We're speaking at a big conference here in London next week. Come see us at Token 24/7 as well. So we're here. We're here to change the space, and we're looking forward to help you change your life. So thank you so much. Lots of love on YouTube as well. YouTube saying Lebanon needs blockchain voting elections. Of course they do. Great point, YouTube. I love this, right? That's exactly what Lebanon needs a lot of things right now. I was in Beirut back in 2005 with my buddy from New York. He thought we were crazy to go there, but it was a beautiful, amazing city. Big love. But man, they could use some blockchain right now, couldn't they? Man, I mean, you got a beautiful country with beautiful people in a beautiful place of the world that's a mess financially, maybe politically. Imagine what the blockchain would do for some of these places. Just imagine, you know? So I love those ideas. Again, we spent 6 months looking into politics in London, and I think we'll apply some of our knowledge, hopefully in the future, to government and voting and all these other things. So we're just excited to be a part of this conversation and excited you're here. So again, love you guys. Bounce over to LondonReal.tv to learn more. Again, apply for the Academy. We'll see you Monday night for the kickoff call. I'm going to try to do more of these live Zoom calls, and I just appreciate everyone here. Big love to Kim and Joe, by the way. Love seeing you guys. All right, and by the way, it's Kim on the left, Joe on the right. All right, just so you guys know, that's Bobo, it's Walter. Clint, good to see you, brother. We'll see you in the future. Rachel Webster, thank you so much. Angela, I'm going to send you some tokens when we create that for your love. Jason, appreciate you being here. Matt, Laura, you got a great picture. I'll see your face one day. Jishnu, Liam, all you people. So I appreciate all you, and I'll be trying to do more of these going forward. Lots of love. We'll see you on the live episodes. We'll see you in the Academy, and we'll see you next time. All right, bless. All right, bye. Bye, everybody. Booyah. All right. Thank you, Instagram. Big love to you guys. YouTube. I got to give you a little more love here on YouTube. We got CU. Actually, I want to stay here. We got Matthew from Utah on YouTube. We got James McKenzie. I appreciate you, brother. We got also Instagram. I'm going to give you more love. I appreciate all the love on Instagram, and I know we got some comments. I was going to give more love, but YouTube, I appreciate all of you. Some great comments in here as well. People talking about Ripple, which I totally get, and people asking about all those things. Again, we talk about this stuff every day. We stream live on LondonReal.tv. Chris is saying gold. Thanks to you. We appreciate that. We got a lot of great knowledge here. We're in a really special place that we're a big broadcaster, so we got the best people in the world that are coming to sit there and talk to us. We're putting out the best messages. We've got the best academy in the world. We got the best group of students. You probably saw me talking to them on Zoom. I mean, they're amazing people. They're just really good people with good intentions and are plugged into some amazing places. So again, would love to see you guys in the academy, LondonReal.tv/DeFi, DEFI, if you want to apply. I'll read all the applications personally. I'll see you in there. And hopefully you'll be our students going there as well. And we got Chronic here on crypto. Crypto's better on all levels. I appreciate that. We got all sorts of people. I got some great suggestions as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate the love. And again, I'll try to go through and answer the comments tomorrow. We're streaming live all the time. And this is great feedback. So I'll see you all on YouTube soon. I'll see you back on Instagram soon. And again, appreciate all of you going forward. Let's go get it. All right. DeFi revolution is happening. So let's just make it happen. All right. Bye on YouTube.